What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And listen, I'm going to be continuing to show you how to make the Poppy Playtime new exterior. This is part 5, and in this one we're going to be getting kind of all the stuff on the right here brought back, these barns along with this science section here. And we're getting this smokestack in right here, which is going to be fun, for lack of better terms. And yeah, we'll also prep ourselves to get some of these smokestacks done, really just these 4 right here. And, yeah, with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alright, so this part is going to start to kind of show some light as to why you actually need Chapter 1. Not quite yet, I think it'll actually be next part we do the thing that you really need it for. But we're going to kind of start getting in that direction. So we're going to end up starting by taking this middle section back. So you want to get out, for this part, cyan concrete, smooth quartz blocks. That's, I think, all you need for this section, yeah. So we're going to get out a little bit else, which is yellow terracotta. Pink terracotta, but I don't know if we'll use it yet. Mangrove slabs. Mangrove planks. Stone. Cyan terracotta, and I feel like that's everything we'll need here. So if you take the right side of the roof here, of this, white section here, the one that's further back, you should have 2 rows thick right now, because we're going to ignore the bottom because I know there's more there, but if you take any of these 2 thick parts on this particular portion, you want to extend them back by 21. Like so, and you can essentially bring the entire outer layer of the roof back to that point. You're making a flat line here on the back. Even, like, going across it stays flat. And also, if you have Chapter 1 and you have the dome, you'll notice you're, like, pretty much in line with... You're actually further than it. You're on this row right here. That's fine. It will end up being like that. Eventually, or essentially what we'll end up doing is, because this is an overhang, obviously, we're going to end up going in a couple rows. So I think it'll be either up against it or there'll be a gap of 1. I don't remember. And then we'll end up coating that dome, which is why you're going to need Chapter 1, because I'm not going to give you the blocks for it, or, like, the numbers for it. I'm just going to tell you to coat it in blocks. So, yeah. I mean, if you have it double-layered or something weird, that's not really a huge deal. It won't, like, change much. You just really, I think the only thing you need to make sure is that the size is correct going around. But yeah, I wanted to make this dome further back, so it just worked better with everything else, or just, I guess, have the section in front of it. And it has, like, a little, almost like section that it looks out into. You'll see what I did with it. There's, like, a bunch of stuff going on. But, yeah. I guess I'll slash fill some of this if I can up here. Like, I could, in theory, slash fill the top, but, yeah. Nice, kind of easy start, I guess. I mean, tedious, but easy. I'm gonna do it this way, to where I line up with the 2 corners. Copy that coordinate, pray that it's right. That's a good step, I think. And then just do a couple commands. There, and I guess I could manually fill that, but here. And then I have to fill down the other side. Yeah. And then after this, we might do the big yellow-pink smokestack. That is something that needs to be done sooner rather than later, because that's kind of the big one. Like, the rest are whatever. That one is kind of the one that we do need to be aware of, though. Also, what happens with that warped? I don't think I actually know what happens with that warped. I know it goes back, but I don't know where it stops, because I know the... like, yellow section that's on the right side right now, the yellow terracotta one we made next to the brick section ends up coming across there, and I think it just cuts it off. But I'm pretty sure it goes further back than this, like, by a lot, if I remember correctly, because I know it should go under... Does it go under that? No, because the yellow connects into the castle section that is next to me right now. I'm pretty sure, at least. I'm just, like, thinking this off of memory. I'm not actually looking at the build, so... Anyway, you should end up with this. Now, the best thing to do at this point, probably, is just kind of look forward and copy the almost underside. So like here I know this is the second row, and essentially the way you can kind of tell is where you have the like second row in, you see where it kind of like it goes out a row, and then I'm gonna remove this block for the purpose of that, but it goes like out a row and then back in. You want to essentially trace that row that is just kind of diagonally out from the course. So from here I'll go over 2, and then it's kind of just a game of following that on this very back row, and you can kind of look forward and see. You could also use where the dots are to help you. Like you can kind of see where the shadow is on that section and be like, okay, yeah, so it's just like that's I think 3 blocks there, and then it'll go all the way across till there's 3 here, and then it'll be 2 again, so I'll have to delete that, and then it'll be a bunch of 1s and stuff. And I'll leave it hollow for now. You technically could fill it all in, but... And then I will actually go down another row here. You don't need this row, which is why I didn't place it, but it'll just be helpful for the demonstration. And then you can just fill that little area in, those little 1 diagonals. Okay. That's just splendid. Good lord. Okay, there you go. You should have that. You are going to do the same thing you have on the front, except I guess you don't have the window, and obviously you don't have 2 different layers, but you're going to bring, like, the bottom row of the cyan in another row, so we can then have the smooth quartz in another row from that. And yeah, we'll be doing this section again later. I think the curve is different on it, but there's one on the back that I made because I needed something to put there, and that just made sense. And then again, from there, you'll go diagonally back in with smooth quartz, and I'm just going to kind of connect across where the cyan ends on the over to the right here. I guess it's the side closer to the window. And I'm just gonna cut it off there. It'll go lower on the left, and that's fine. I'm not really worried about that yet though, because we'll fill that down once we can get in the floor 100%, although it really shouldn't be that bad. Does that change? That might change, actually. No, I don't think it does. I'm trying to think if I have slabs or not from the inside, but no, because I'm pretty sure the stone is in line with the bottom of the dome. But I don't actually remember. It's not important yet anyway. That'll probably be next part. But yeah, you should have this. Just a little area filled in. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could fill all the way down, because it is just before the course. Yeah, okay, I am right. The stone just sits on the white concrete. Or smooth quartz if you have the new one at this point. So anyway, on this side, which is the one closer to the barns, I know that's oddly specific. So at this point, you want to take the right side of this little curve, and not the bottommost like cyan here at the back, but the row just to kind of, I guess, to the left of it will be this final row of 2 before that 1 diagonal. And you want to extend each of those cyan concretes back with 3 stone. Extend each of those stone then left by also 3. And I'll go under the cyan here just because. And then I'll place a row of cyan terracotta off to the left of that. You don't want to go back or anything, or forward, or whatever. You just kind of want a little wall there. That'll help us later, but not really important yet. So if you head back forward a little bit, strip mangrove wood might be useful here. I don't know if... Do we need it? No, we shouldn't, actually. So, if you take where the... like, this yellow curve section ends, it's for this back one. You want to place mangrove planks behind it that will stick 1 row higher than it, which is going to be 1 full block like so. You'll then up diagonally forward from that place a row of slabs. And then on top of this row of planks, you'll place 2 more rows of planks. And you'll extend pretty much left the 2 blocks over the cyan like so. You'll then go, I guess, up diagonally back with mangrove planks again. That will stick to the left an additional 1 from the previous row, and that'll be where the roof ends up ending. So behind that, you'll place a row of slabs. Or on top, I guess, of the planks. Then behind those slabs, you'll place planks. More planks on top. And then behind the far left one, you'll place an upside down slab, and then have a full row of planks going across there. Slab row on top. Plank row behind, slab row on top, plank row behind, slab row on top, plank row behind, slab row on top again, plank row behind, Then on the far left, you'll go back with an upside down slab. Slab on top and extend that all the way right so it's to the same point. Plank row behind. Far left, you'll go back with 2 upside down slabs, each with a slab on top, and then those 2 slabs can be brought right. Then behind that, 3 rows of planks. 2 rows of slabs. And then under the far left here, you'll place upside down slabs again. And behind the upside down slabs there, you'll place a row of planks. So we can kind of start trimming the roof. And, well, okay, I don't want to say trimming because that's technically wrong. We're going to keep building in where we don't have blocks, essentially. So if you take the furthest left plank here, you're going to place a row of slabs behind this full thing, but you're leaving this leftmost plank open. So it'll be the right 7 planks are brought back with a slab. Or whatever. And then the next row, you're going to leave the left 2 slabs open and place planks down diagonally back from the other 5 slabs. Then go back with a row of slabs. Then down from... yeah, I guess each of them with planks. Then behind the right 4 planks with slabs. Down with planks. Back with slabs. Down with planks. And then back with slabs from the right 3. So you essentially have this kind of chisel almost out of the corner. It'll be more important later, but... you can get out strip mangrove wood, and what I'm going to do here is... where you have the strip mangrove wood on, it's this like leftmost barn section here, this one which is closest to what we just made. If you trace the strip mangrove through the mangrove planks, you can actually extend this particular mangrove plank row back until you're, what, on the 3rd, or I guess 4th from the end. So this is end 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be, you'd be 1, I think, short of that, right? Yeah, you would be end up being here under this plank, pretty much. And then behind that, you'll place an upward-facing strip mangrove wood. And essentially, if you were to look, like, from the inside of the barn where that would be, to the right of the strip mangrove, you'll have a little gap of 1 there, which isn't important. I just feel like I should mention it. But then anyway, you'll kind of bring the strip mangrove wood left with sideways strip mangrove wood, and just make sure you have the upward-facing one at the far end. Here, now I'm going to bring this back with planks from the corner, so I can confirm that I get this right. And I was actually a block off. That's crazy. You should have this. Now, the roof and stuff. It's not really fun, I'll tell you that much. So you kind of want to... you can bring the barn roof back from this one particularly, at least the, like, left half of it, including the mangrove planks at the top. So basically... I'm going to take this plank here, and I'm going to extend this one all the way back until it overhangs that mangrove by 1. And everything to this side of it, I'm going to bring back to that same point. And you're going to end up connecting into this roof, and you'll have to kind of redraw this line at the back at some points, but that's fine. So you see I'll take this mangrove slab here, and if I bring this back, it should connect into that slab there. These planks will connect into this plank here, I believe. Yes. And yeah, it's kind of just drawing a lot of lines. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. Hopefully that made enough sense. It is kind of just connecting roofs. Annoyingly, but you're still connecting them, so. You know, and then you see like at this point, you're going to have this mangrove plank line which will connect into that. And then you'll obviously have another row of planks above. And that is when you can pretty much bring it back and do the same thing at the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to literally just look over and copy the roof. Like I see that slabs there. And then it should be planks under the slabs. I'm guessing slabs out from that. Yeah. Maybe? No, it was actually planks. And then it should be a plank under that. And I don't think we go any further than that because that should... well, you would have to... no, the slab would already... this should be the slab, technically, that overhangs. So, yeah, you wouldn't go further than that. Although, I do need the upside-down slab there, and I need to bring this strip mangrove up to kind of fill that in. And yeah, I'll just fill in the rest of this side particularly because there's no reason in waiting on it. It'll just be nice to have, you know, any little thing filled in that we won't have to do later in a grind. But yeah. And then we'll probably do the smokestack next because I feel like getting that out of the way early and apart is just a good idea. Well, I guess it's like the next logical step because we're working in the area of it anyway, and it's kind of one of the big things that I mentioned kind of should be done earlier. Because I feel like that's one of the things that absolutely sticks out when you look at the factory. This, you know, smokestack that's triple the height of the factory itself. Definitely doesn't go unnoticed. I kind of have it in an unfortunate spot. But, I mean, it ends up working either way. Obviously, I think further back might make more sense than where I do have it, but that would require a lot of other things to move as well, and it would probably end up meaning that you would need to make the factory in general a lot larger. So, you know, I mean, you could get away with it, but I'm more so thinking about the smokestacks on the, like, right of it, because there's 2 rows over there, and that's just going to kind of get in your way. So anyway, yeah, you should have this. And if you have this little corner of mangrove here, which you will just, or this little corner that's open, you'll just fill this in with mangrove planks. As for the backside, though, this little gap of 1 you're actually filling with yellow terracotta. I would say a block in, but you actually kind of want to just fill in line with the mangrove, so it's diagonally over from the short mangrove there. Right? And then you would bring the parts of the roof here over a block. So this plank, slab, plank, slab. And it'll give you this. I know it's kind of weird. I had to look at it for a second and be like, what am I looking at? But I got it. So, for this smokestack, structure blocks might be our friend here, as I've mentioned before with this. Because we built the barn, though, first, it kind of gets a little bit iffy at the bottom. But that's not really a huge ordeal. So, before we start it, you want to take this cyan terracotta row here that we placed a little bit earlier, just kind of next to this cyan stuff here. You want to extend it down with 8, or the stone, I guess, just to the inside of it, down with 8 yellow terracotta. It'll be this first row of it. If you go down diagonally out from that and place another row of stone, you should be able to bring this over, and it'll just kind of sit directly on the white concrete here, and I'm just going to bring each row over, and they should all connect into the dome, I think, yeah. Just like so. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to bring it back by, like, 15. And I only need to go as far as, like, the first row of the dome here. You don't need to fill in everything. I'm going to fill in this little corner because I'll forget it later. But we just need enough space so we can actually build the smokestack. Just off of the stone. Just like that. That's a little platform. And just because you're not going to technically need it, but I'm going to bring this stone right by like 6 rows maybe. I'll go 8. At least the points that aren't blocked by the yellow terracotta. Do I want to just do it all? I guess I'll just do it all. Again, you don't need this. This is just so we can build the smokestack directly off of it still. But this will be covered up by walls and stuff later. Including this yellow wall, actually, because this yellow wall will just go through the smokestack, basically. Smokestack kind of cuts it off. Alright, so. It's fun time, not really. So the bottom of this is a little bit janky, so we're going to essentially start by building up, I think, in a spot. Well, I'm going to give you the shape, and then we're going to go from there and use probably a different portion of it to make the actual spiral shape. And then I can explain how you might want to structure block it. Now, as for the section that's sticking out, I guess, you're going to take this back yellow terracotta and go back diagonally left with another yellow terracotta. So when you start this smokestack, you want to start it off of this back yellow terracotta. So I'd actually break this row behind that back cyan terracotta, and I'm going to place yellow here extending, you know, I guess it'd be out diagonally is where we'll start, or I don't remember. It's one of these blocks. But you only want 4 rows of yellow here. You don't want 5 because you'll be a block too far back if you do that, and you'll see that'll screw up here. Worst case, if you did what I just did, you can structure block it forward, but it's not particularly ideal to do it that way. Extend left one. Back diagonally left with a pink. Left. Back diagonally left. Left. Back. Back diagonally left. Back. Back diagonally left. Back 4. Back diagonally right. Back. Back diagonally right. Back. Right. Back diagonally right. Of course, we're still going to stick over. Right. Back diagonally right. And then right with 4 pink. You'll then go 4 diagonally right with a yellow. Right, and then the rest of the shape should just be yellow. So 4 diagonally right. Right. Forward. 4 diagonally right. Forward. 4 diagonally right. Forward 4. 4 diagonally left. Forward. 4 diagonally left. Forward. Left. 4 diagonally left. Left. 4 diagonally left, and then left by 2. And you should notice it is half pink and half yellow perfectly. The only way you can really tell that is that you have 2 yellow, or 2 rows of 5 that are yellow and 2 that are pink, and you just kind of see it ends at the same point there. So like that row is 2 yellow, that row is 2 pink, and yeah. That's the shape of it. Now, this thing is tall, so I wouldn't recommend necessarily using this. Now, what you can do is you can take the... Where do we want to take this from? The, like, first yellow here, this row of 5 at the front, and you want to place... You want to place pink on the left 4 and a yellow on the right one. Then going... I guess we'll go clockwise, which would be to the left. You're going to end up essentially bringing all of the pinks up by another pink, except for the back row of 5. You want to leave that one just for a second. So stop there, and then on the first of the 5, you'll place a pink, and then it'll be yellow on the, what should be the rest of this shape. And I believe it'll still be even, it'll just be rotated. Yeah, and you see, there you go, you end on a, like, 4 and 1 and 4 and 1 there. And essentially, you're just going to keep shifting this row 4 blocks to the right. So on the next row, it would be, you see, I'm actually going to take this, like, yellow here, and I'm going to place pink on these first 4 yellow on the, like, front right. And then I'll just bring the pink around the left here, and I'll end up stopping here just so I can place yellow on the back 4 pink, and then I'll place pink on the rest. Or pink on the rest of the pinks, and then yellow on the rest of the yellow. And so, again, each time you do this, I would recommend just flying up and checking, and seeing that it lines up perfectly. So you see, like, again, 1 pink, 1 yellow, a row of 2 pink, and a row of 2 yellow. And it should line up like that pretty much every time, to where it'll be perfectly 50-50. It might not look 50-50, but, like, if you were to, I guess, draw a diagonal from this yellow, it would end up on the last pink. I guess, yeah, last yellow, last pink there. And that also, I guess, is another way to tell. Would that work for every single one? I guess it wouldn't, but it did work for that one. And then again, you're going to shift it right by 4, so these N4 yellow will have pink, and these N4 pink will have yellow, and then the rest of the pinks will be pink, and the rest will be... rest of the yellows will be yellow. Hopefully that's an easy enough way to do it without me having to tell you how to do it block for block. You're just taking 4 blocks, and you're using those. And eventually, now you're going to hit a point to where you just copy, you end up reciprocating the first row. It'll take a little while to get there, but you'll get there eventually, don't worry. And once you hit that point, you should maybe consider stopping for just a moment here. And yeah, I'll just kind of get there, and maybe if you want to watch how I'm doing it, you absolutely can. Yeah, I'm literally just going diagonally here, and I feel like this way makes a good enough sense. I ended up actually doing it before to where I made And how I would generally go about doing this if you were to try to make it without a tutorial is make the spiral shape first and make sure that it'll line up properly. And then essentially once you have one spiral, you can just fill in the rest with the color. And obviously they don't have to be the same thickness like they are here, but I think it does make more sense to have them the same thickness. And yeah, I probably should be confirming that I'm doing it right, but it's fine. I'll check this row to make sure. Just a quick reality check. I feel like if I mess up one, or I'm pretty sure if you mess up one, they'd all get messed up. And yeah, there you go. So we're actually, I think we're halfway there, right? No, I don't think that's actually maybe the case. No, we're not. We're more than halfway. I was thinking half because of the position we were in based on the other, but no, I was thinking wrong about it. And yeah. And then I'll go, wait, it's this way. Just make sure that the shapes are moving counterclockwise. That would be the direction of the spiral. Yeah. If you were to look from above, I guess, from the front. And this should almost be, I think it's one more, or we like one more row, right? Oh no, it's more than one, because right, I have the whole thickness of this one to do. So, yeah, it's a lot of rows for sure. Oopsies. Let's not do that. And then, yeah. And so, again, I think we're going to kind of start by doing a lot of the smokestacks as we can kind of reach them. And then from there, it'll end up being just kind of the rest of the stuff that's more so custom. Although we do have to do some of the custom stuff to get the smokestacks in, because a lot of them are in just weird positions, so. Okay, so I need the yellow to poke through there. Oh my goodness, it's actually a lot of rows. I didn't think it was that many, but no, it's a good amount. Right, I'm doing that? Yeah, okay, I'm doing that right. I should just like switch the spot. You can always check and just make sure that like, yeah, it still looks like it's going the right way. So that would mean surely it is going the right way. And then here it'll be for yellow and just, you know, on the rest of the pink. And I feel like this might be smart to time-lapse because this is taking a little while, but I think we're almost, are we almost there? Yeah, no, we're almost there. Yeah, because the 4 yellow sneaks in here now, right? And then it'd be, yeah, okay, so that actually is the last row, never mind. Because if I take this yellow here and have 4 yellow and then a pink, you'll see that actually is the same at the bottom. So yeah, we're the same. Yeah, nice. So it should be that high. Pretty much. It's 4 higher than the cyan here. Now, you can structure block this. And again, because we have the corners and stuff here with the mangrove, it might be a little bit annoying. But I'm still going to show you how to structure block it. And we're going to essentially screw with the file on the... I guess it would be the third one, right? Or we can kind of mark it. So basically... Actually, what we can do, here's what we're going to do instead. It's going to be an extra step, but get rid of whatever in your inventory. And I want you to get out structure voids. And basically, you want to fill at least the corners of this file with structure voids. Which is basically going to be, if you take these rows of 5, you're going to bring them out with structure voids and connect them at a point. Again, you can just keep copying this. I'll give you the height in a second. But... and you want to fill each of these corners with structure voids. Alternatively, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do it /fill keep command. Because it doesn't matter that there will be too many. I'll just have to remove them later, but it doesn't actually make a difference. And so I'll go out to here, and I can do /fill structure _ void keep. And so you see that it'll give me a whole bunch of structure voids. And what that'll basically do is as we do the structure block files, it'll keep every single block that the structure void is in. So basically, like, these corner blocks here won't get removed. We do have that wall, which actually isn't in the way. So yeah, if you get out a structure block and kind of place it wherever, and you'll see I'm actually on the right corner here. So I'm going to go just kind of between these two, and I'll break this structure void at eye level, and I'll place the structure block there. And what'll it be? It'll be like 17... actually, yeah, it's 17 by 17. And height technically doesn't matter, but I'm gonna try to make it perfect. Well, actually, it does matter because you want to make sure you don't get the same row twice. So I think it'll be 13. No, 13 would give me that row again, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna go 12 is what it should be. And so you see here this row of 2, and then... yeah, this row of 2 here would be there, which I guess is actually a row of 5. So that's a bad example. This row of 2 would be here, so I don't want this row as well. And I'm going to save it as G, and then I'll go above. And for this first one, I do want to make sure that I get that top row in. So I'm actually just going to place it on the structure voids there, and I'll go G. And you see if I load this, that roof there will stay. And so yeah, you see it'll essentially line up perfectly. Now, you want to go... you want to have in total between the pink and the yellow, including the... if we look at the left side here, you want to look at this bottom pink, alright? This will be 1. We want... hold on. We want 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We want 13 stripes, which means you want to end basically on the pink. Now, I'm going to structure block it for however much it'll get me. I think it'll be like... I think it'll be 14. But whatever's closest. You see I'm at 3, 4, 5. And ignore the fact that it's double. It was just a little bit of an oopsie on my part. The layering on the inside, but it'll fix now. So if I keep going up, it's going to structure block a bunch and not really count. For a second. Till I feel like I'm at a sufficient height. Like, that might be good to check at least. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is an extra. Yeah, that'll be extra rows down there, so don't worry about that. I'll fix that again in a sec. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that'll be part of 11. Then it'll be full 11, 12. Part of the 13. And if you structure block up again, that should give you part to 15. And yeah. It'll look like this. Now, if you do it that way, the cutoff point is going to be... if we look again at the left side here, you want to take this row of pink and you want to count up to the 6th one, the final one. And you want basically 2 rows higher than the top pink. So I'm going to take this yellow here. The 3rd yellow up, I'll break all the way around. And I'll show you again from the side, although I'm going to quickly fix that mistake at the bottom. But yeah, basically, if you do the structure block way, you're breaking the top 4 rows. If you don't do it the structure block way, you're breaking, or you're basically filling up until on the front here, you should have 6 almost full rows of pink terracotta. The right one will only be 5, but that's how far you're filling. And yeah, it'll give you a big old smokestack. And again, if you look from the front, barring mine is a little bit off on this side, I think, because of that structure block issue. But it should look kind of like that. And that looks pretty good. The stripes work well. And that's kind of what we wanted. So yeah, let me fix up whatever's going on with it. And I will be back in a sec. So yeah, when it's all said and done, it'll look like this. It wasn't actually wrong in the portion I was pointing out. It just looked weird, I think, because I was already suspicious of the other stuff. But yeah, anyway, it should be like this, and you see it's nice and large. Now, I'd recommend removing all the structure voids now. So I'm literally just going to pop up the same command here, and I'm going to go, instead of structure void keep, I'm going to go air replace structure void. And it will remove all of them. And I'm going to make sure that there's no others that are lingering anywhere. But yeah. And there you go. And you see it'll like slot into this roof perfectly. And it'll be like 2 blocks away from that. And yeah, that's pretty much all the important bases. So I guess there's kind of nothing else really to do on this particular portion. What we can end up doing is... we're going to continue to work on the barn roofs, because those are kind of the... oh, I needed that. Whatever, that's fine. We're going to end up doing the rest of them. So if you want to get out mangrove planks, mangrove slabs, yellow terracotta, and stripped mangrove wood... I want to start actually by taking this roof that sticks out here on the left and just filling in the, like, left side of this peak, just in with yellow terracotta. And you're just going to go down from all the mangrove, and it should either be cyan concrete or stone to kind of block off at the bottom. But yeah, there's no window or anything here. On the backs of them, 2 of them have windows. The one that we're going to start with does not have a window, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, it should look like this, essentially. Nice, we're starting to get corners and stuff done. Good, I don't know how long I've been recording for. I always love that feeling. So, what we can do now is, just the rest of this roof you want to bring back to the same point. I guess we'll try to get at least, like, the roofs of these done, and then I might just call it a video based on Audible, but... yeah, and you do want to make sure you get the upside down slabs and stuff on the underside. Basically, every single point will have at least half a block to where it'll connect to the next row. So like you see here, you have this you have this full plank, the bottom half of the plank connects to this slab, this upside down slab connects to the top half of that plank, and even up here, like you have these 2 upside down slabs, which will connect into the top half of that plank, and these slabs will connect into that plank, whatever. That's kind of just the method of the roof. So almost always, I know when stairs are involved it gets a little bit different because, you know, stairs are easier, but that is the slab plank way, or slab block, I guess. And yeah, this roof doesn't actually have anything obstructing it, which I thought it did on this side, but the next one has a thing coming off the left, and I think the final one might have some obstruction, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Who knows anymore? I feel like my only, like, knowledge of knowing how long I've been recording for is the clock, but even then, because of the pauses I've had to take to fix stuff, you know, that, say I've been here for 30 minutes, maybe it's only been 20 of recording. Probably not that drastic of a difference, but still, you get the point. That's why I always like to kind of know, because, like, you know, that happened in Ban recently, or one of the Ban Zero parts, and the part ended up being 50 minutes, because I just didn't know how long I was going for. And I tried to estimate it, and I was, as you could probably tell, pretty far off. But yeah, you only have to do this plank, by the way. Anyway, you should have this. But yeah, this plank here is where you'll stop. And yeah. The next roof. Now, I think the best way to do this, actually, is if you take the strip mangrove corner, you're going to extend it up by 2 to connect in. If you head to the side, you want to take the first 9 mangrove planks and connect them up. And you can actually also place the slabs. It would be off not the top plank, but it'd be like, you'd have another row of planks here, actually, so the strip mangrove is only 2, and off this row of planks, you'll have slabs. Going back to that same point, like so. Had to confirm that was correct. And then, basically, where this empty row is, you'll have the bottom 2 strip mangrove, and I'm also going to bring the sideways strip mangrove across, and I'm going to connect this one the same way I did before, where I'll take this strip mangrove row here in line with it, and I'll bring the mangrove planks back, and just connect it up. And wow, it's actually in line. Crazy. But yeah, it should look like that. They're not all the same size, as you can probably tell. Each one, I think, might get shorter. Yup, each one might... well, actually, this one might be longer. It's hard to tell. So, you want to take the planks here, like... I'm going to bring this slab back first on the far left of this one at the front, but I'm going to bring this top plank here just back, and I want to lay this out the same, to where I'll have it stick over by 1, and I'll go down with a plank, which will end up replacing that slab like so. From there, I'll go over with an upside down slab, up with a plank, and up with a slab. In addition, I want to take this plank, and I'm going to count forward by 1, and I'll place a plank and a slab on top of that one. And then you have a roof here. Now, because, you know, we don't really have a spot to mark with, we're just going to go forward. So, from the slab, if you're looking towards the, like, right side of the build, at this, you're going to bring this slab right with a plank, then go up 1, right with an upside down slab, up with a plank, up with a slab, right 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 with a plank, right with an upside down slab, up with a slab, right with a plank, right with 2 upside down slabs, place a slab on top of each, bring those slabs right with 3 planks, and then right with 2 slabs. Extend either of those slabs down with an upside down slab, and then extend right with a plank from the upside down slabs, right with a slab, down with an upside down slab, right with a plank, right with a slab, down with a plank, right with a slab, down with a plank, right with the slab, down with a plank, right with a slab, down with a plank, down with an upside down slab, right with a plank, down one, right with a slab, and then down with a plank. The only thing I would check, like, none of this really matters. If you take the planks at the top, you want to just make sure they're the same height as the actual roof itself. Only thing that matters. Block inside of that anyway, you can actually just fill it in with yellow terracotta now. There's no reason in waiting. And I'm assuming you should know the drill from this point. The really next 2 roofs aren't obstructed much. I think the right one you might have to connect the... I can actually check. You might have to connect the, like, silo looking... Not the silo. The military base looking thing? No, never mind. That's too low. But, yeah, both these roofs you're bringing back. Now, I guess this one you don't have marked out yet. I can actually tell you where that's marked out. Hold on. Give me a second. It is... just on that first row of stone, actually. So if you... really just behind the mangrove should be in line with the cyan terracotta, and then you'll just place strip mangrove behind it. Here. And if you extend it across into the mangrove over here, and just have the same thing, you'll see that it has... you have 3 mangrove planks there visible. Which I'll bring up. And yeah, you want to bring both these roofs back to this point. Do I want to time-lapse this? If there's anything in this tutorial that should be time-lapsed, it's this, 100%. Now, I guess I'll talk about the situation on the left. Those roofs are connecting, again, you should probably know the drill for that. And they should just kind of connect normally. Essentially, if you take the back side of this, you can literally just keep going, like, around with the planks and slabs, just around the previous row. And just keep going back to the same point, and it'll keep getting, you know, larger and larger the area you have. And you kind of want to do the same thing going forward, and then the other side is just basic. But yeah, this is kind of easier than doing anything else, since we don't have the peak anyway, and this literally draws it directly for us. So, yeah, that'll be helpful. One thing, do not fill in the backs of them yet. We'll worry about that in a second. Or not in a second, after this whole section is done. I do think I am going to hit you with a time-lapse on this, because this is going to take a while. And, you know, it might end up being a shorter part because of that. Like, overall, not like 20 minutes short, but like, you know, like 35 rather than 50 or whatever. So, yeah, enjoy this section or don't, because I know I certainly won't. And, yeah, I'll catch you when it's all done. So yeah, anyway, you should end up with this. You see, everything kind of works pretty smoothly. Now, as for the back, I guess we should get our green terracotta. Entirely forgot about that. So, the middle one and the one on the right here, you want to have the window that you have on the front and the back. The left one here, you don't. The left one, you're just filling this in with yellow terracotta. The reason there's no window here is because one of these smokestacks is literally directly behind it. So I just didn't really feel like it would make sense. But yeah. And we'll just fill this one in. I will go over the window again just once, just so you can make sure you have it right. But you can always look forward and just, you know, do it that way. So I'm going to take the top actually to start because I feel like it'll be easier. If you take this end row of mangrove planks, this row of 3 at the top, you want to bring the, not the front mangrove plank row, but I guess the one that's in a row down with 2 rows of yellow terracotta and then a row of mangrove planks. From either end of that, you'll go down diagonally out by 2, then down 2, then down diagonally in by 2, and you'll connect together from there. You will fill in inside of the mangrove a block behind it in with green terracotta, or I guess in this case in front of it because it is technically towards the front of the build. But, you know, if you're looking at the window, that's not really the case. But yeah, again, you can literally just trace forward and see, like, okay, yeah, the mangrove looks there, and that does look like the number 2. So, I guess it doesn't look like the number 2, it just looks like it is 2. So, definitely, not the same thing, because if I'm saying it looks like the number 2, then it would imply that the thing actually looks like, you know, a number, and it doesn't. It looks like a block, an amount of blocks. Anyway, and then, yeah, the rest you'll just fill in with yellow terracotta as per usual. And, yeah, we'll do one, I think, little thing. Just to prepare us for next part, where we're going to be doing more smokestacks. Yippee. But this is basically a couple minor things I guess we're doing. Because I would love to get all the smokestacks in. It'd be fantastic. Part 6, the smokestack part. And yeah, it's really like, that's like the big thing. Again, I mentioned it. We're gonna end up leaving 1 row, I know for sure. But I'd love to get the, like, the big blue one in, and the 3 that are on this side that we're on right now, and then, I guess 3 of the 6 that are on this side, and then the 3 on the other side. A lot of smokestacks. This factory is large. That was one of the things I did actually cut out on the original, was the back row of smokestacks. I just, like, I didn't want to make the factory like 300 blocks deep, but for this one I didn't care. The whole point was to make it as big as frick, whatever that means. Anyway, you should have this. So, from this point, you can... What I'm going to do is, the stone that we have over here, next to the... or where the big smokestack is, you can get out stone actually. It's not that stone though. If you take this upper roof here, I would maybe also get out cyan terracotta. You want to kind of trace this through to the other side. And so I see there's 3 rows here. Like, there's 2 rows here on this row of 5. So it'll be the middle row out of the 5 on the back side. And I'm going to extend this back by 6 with yellow terracotta. And then I'll extend each yellow terracotta up by 4, then place a cyan, then 6 yellow, and then a stone. And if you kind of trace this, you'll see you'll end up just kind of at the bottom of the barns there. And yeah, I'm gonna just kind of make this whole wall this pattern. Trust the process, maybe. Or don't, I guess. That's also an option. I feel like I'm losing my ability to tutorialize. I don't know what's going on. From the left side, both the cyan terracotta and stone you'll bring left with a row of cyan terracotta specifically. And then if you take the backmost stone, you want to essentially extend it all the way right. And you want to connect it into the final stone that's over here. And it'll be this guy right, hold on. This guy right here. And it'll give you a giant rectangle. Do we want to fill this in now, or we can... Can we do the other side? I don't think the other side makes sense to do. So yeah, I will end the part here. So you want to fill this in with stone, and that'll be where the part ends. Again, you don't need to necessarily be here for this. I'm just going to slash fill most of it anyway, Because it doesn't matter if you go under the barns or anything, because nothing should get destroyed in theory. And you could probably cut through the dome, or the smokestack here. I don't really see why that would cause a problem. I'm gonna do it anyway and just hope. 4,000 on the dot? That's crazy. Okay, yeah. That made a little bit of an oopsie. So yeah, you can't quite go that far, but that's good to know. That's why I tested, and then you guys, saved you guys the hassle of having to fix that, because that's kind of a dumb one right there. But I guess if you do fill that first, I have a little corner there to break. But yeah, you just want this giant area, and we can start with the smokestacks on this side, and then we'll kind of have to prepare ourselves to do the ones on the other side with a couple unrelated things. But once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is what part are we on? 5 of the new Playtime Co. exterior complete? Not terrible overall. It looks a lot better now that we have that smokestack in. But yeah, hopefully next part we'll be able to get a good majority of them done. If we get all of them, that would be awesome. I mean, I guess we could just build directly off the back of the castle spires, because we don't necessarily need to prepare from the middle. We could go from the left side instead, which would be, I think, a little weird, but it would still work fine. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, I forgot that it would do that every single time. Bye.